Hello, and welcome to the Mindfully Rich podcast, your weekly look at life and finances with a twist, where we talk about improving your overall relationship with money and building better financial habits. On each episode, I'll discuss real life situations and give y'all practical advice. The point of this podcast is to help you stay in your financial lane so you won't end up broke. I'm the creator and host, Gina Ritchie Richardson. Now, let's jump into today's conversation. Child, I don't know what's going on with my voice. Y'all hear this? This is a mess. Okay, but for some of y'all can't see this, but I am recording this episode live, and you are getting the video form of me. I don't know where to look, y'all. So look, just know I'm everywhere. Okay? I decided to do this live just because I have a special series of mindfully rich conversations that are coming your way next month for Financial Literacy Month, and that I am hoping to continue on, which will be my subscriber only content. Okay, I'm moving to subscriber only content alongside of the episodes that I do here on the Mindfully Rich podcast. And y'all already know how I got to start it off, starting off with some gratitude. Let me say thank you. Whether I am making the episodes or not, baby, y'all know how to listen. And I love it. Okay. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for listening. Thank you for sharing. Continue to do that because y'all is marketing. I need to make sure that y'all is sharing this thing far and wide. One woman team over here. Okay. And it seems like the longer that I don't put out an episode, even though, side note, let's go ahead and put this out there. This is episode 112. Okay. So your girl been working. All right. Episodes been done. Episodes that been put down for a while. All right. So thank y'all so much for continuing to spread the word. Continue to do so. And I'm so glad to be back with another episode. And so we are ending Women's History Month. And so I wanted to hit y'all with a special episode talking about the cost of being a woman. That's right. So for all my women listening, y'all already know that there's a big cost that we pay to be the bosses that we are. Okay, pay the cost to be the boss. From Chicago, we love some JBs. That's James Brown, if you didn't know. All right, and so I curated this special episode. I don't know what's going on with my voice, y'all, but hang in there. All right, we're going to get through it. All right, we're going to get through it. But anyways, I came up with this special episode because I did want to talk about the cost of being a woman, just because, it's hard out here for a woman. I get that from Hard Out Here for a Pimp, because if you don't know, if you're new to these episodes, I normally like to take a song title. That song title is normally from hip-hop song, R&B song, and I chose, it's Hard Out Here for a Pimp. I just changed the word from pimp to woman. And we're going to get into it, all right? And we are going to talk about it. All right, and so, of course, I'm a woman, child, and it's expensive, all right? It's expensive out here to fund my lifestyle as a whole, but as a woman, I don't know if everyone knows this, there is an added cost that sucks, right? It sucks. There's a financial disparity that women face that men don't face in their everyday life. And so I want us to get into it by first talking about the pink tax. If you're unaware, there is something called the pink tax, which refers to the gender-based pricing where we as women pay more for the same products and services for men. Right? So we pay more just because we're women, right? Now, initially I was thinking, is the pink tax just because they put pink on something, right? That was what I thought. And that does play a part. That's not the portion that I'm going to talk about today. I'm going to talk about where the pink tax comes into play on different products and services that women have, that men have as well, but what women pay more on, all right? So just to let you know a few details, I did some research on this. I want to make sure that y'all ain't just thinking I'm just out here saying something, even though I am a source. If it was me, so what? Okay, so, and that's just how I feel, period. All right, and so I read a study that was conducted by the state of California that estimated that the pink tax costs women an extra $2,200 in today's dollars, right? And that's an extra $2,200 each year. I should have stated that. So if you take $2,200 and you multiply that by the average woman's life, I'm just going to do 60 right now. I think it's longer than that, but we just going to do 60. Over 60 years for a woman, that's $132,000 that a woman spends on just being a woman versus a man, right? Now, if we look at that $132,000 that costs women extra money over their lifetime, right? I want you to also think about that in comparison to the gender wage gap. Right? So think about that, because last month for Black History Month, I talked about the racial wage gap. There is still a gender wage gap that exists amongst women and exists amongst the race of women. So if we're paying, stay with me, if we're paying $132,000 more over the course of our lives just to be women, just for the extra pink tax that is charged upon us, and we still have the gender wage gap that is very apparent, right? And just to let you know some details on the gender wage gap, right now, white and AAPI women, they earn 15 to 18% less than white men. And then you have Black women and Hispanic women, we earn 30 to 43% less than white men. I don't know why the study is always in comparison to white men, because you know what? I'm not going to say I don't know. They earn the highest. So that's the reason why the studies always look that way. So don't get mad, because that's what I'm comparing it to, because that's what the studies look like. All right. So with those numbers, just to go over that again, white and AAPI women make 15 to 18% less than white men. Black and Hispanic women, we make 30 to 43% less than white men. What is that about when we already got to look forward to that whole $132,000 more that we're paying in comparison to men due to the pink tax? It feels like that gender gap shouldn't even be a thing when we're the ones that's paying more. But I digress. That's a whole nother conversation that we can have, right? I want you to just focus on that pink tax as a whole. And I want to jump into what that pink tax consists of. Where's that $132,000 made up from? I'm glad you asked. And we're going to get into it. So the first charge that the pink tax has an effect on, which is women's personal care products. And so when we're thinking about personal care, you want to think about women's cosmetics, our razors, our body wash, our skin care, did I say body wash already? Body wash, just in case. I might have said it already. But think about those type of products, and don't even get me started on our menstruation products, okay? Number one, okay, and this is just my thing, and I don't know if anybody has ever thought about this. I've always said to myself, if men had a period, let me tell you what, they wouldn't work during the period. They would have already came up with bills in Congress that says that they don't have to work. They would already have came up with some type of public assistance for all men, that they can get free tampons, Tampax, all of the things during that time. Child, I don't know why we as women ain't came together and did something like that. But men, them jokers, they slick. They would have came up with some stuff like that. But speaking of periods, because it's a thing, and so yes, I'm going to mention it, because women, we have menstrual cycles, those products alone, they cost yearly. For women, it's estimated that for a menstrual cycle is $20 every time a cycle comes around. They're estimating about $200 to $300 that women have to pay extra each year. That's a separate cost because, of course, men don't have those problems. They don't have that. And once again, women, I don't know why we ain't came up with something when we going through this time that we should be chilling somewhere, okay? That we don't need to be at the jobs. We need to be at home chilling, all right? And I don't know why it ain't something that gives us free menstrual products. One thing I love, it's like I'm a part of a leadership program. I'm a part of NELP, Class 13. And we do a lot of our classes at Sacramento. And when we're there, one thing I love is that I've seen that. Did I say at Sacramento? I meant to say at Sac State. At Sac State, it's so beautiful for me to see, because I can remember being a youngin' when you had to pay for menstrual products when you were at school, and they're free there. They give them either whatever product it is that they're looking for, it's free. And that just made my heart smile. And so I think that if there was something out there that allowed women to get these products free, that we wouldn't have to bear this cost. Okay, but that's like a whole nother conversation. But the point of me talking about the personal care products is for you to see that women pay more than men. And I just mentioned some of those products. And it's estimated that in those personal care products, women spend an estimate of 13% more than men pay when it comes to their personal care products. All right. And so moving on, the next area that the pink tax affects women is in our clothes. Think about clothing us as women, right? Now, a shirt is a shirt. Pants should be pants, right? And if you think about it, and I don't know if this is true because I can't really tell if men are bigger or not. Not more. I would assume that there's more fabric that it costs to make men clothes, but apparently it doesn't. It costs more to make women's clothes. And so when I was doing my investigations, I discovered that there's a tariff, which are taxes, and I may have pronounced that word wrong. I pronounce a lot of words wrong. Roll with it. Okay? A tariff, Tariff, which is a tax that's charged to import international goods and women's apparel and clothing. Apparently, the tax is at 15.1% versus the men's clothing and apparel tax being at 11.9%. Now, I don't know what that is and why that is, because to me, it feels like men's clothes should be more, but apparently it's not. Women's clothing is taxed more. And so that means it costs more to produce women's clothing. Still don't understand why, y'all. Okay, but that goes into why women pay an estimate of 8% more than what men pay for their clothing, right? Now, I didn't even know that. Now, at first, when I was creating this whole conversation, clothing wasn't even in the equation. And it just made me just think like, that really is something. And we're going to talk about some solutions, but I really didn't understand. I'm like, clothes, why? Right? I didn't get the clothes. Y'all probably sitting here too like, why clothes? I don't know. Okay, but we're going to continue on. So the next area that I want to talk about where the pink tax affects women is in healthcare. And it's estimated that women pay about 8% more than men when it comes to healthcare yearly. So I want you to think about it like this, right? Women have to go to something that's called our female wellness visits, right? So not only do we have to visit our regular doctor for your regular physicals, we got to visit an OBGYN so we can have our women wellness visits, right? Men don't have that special doctor that they have to go to just for being a man. But we as women do, right? And not only do we have wellness visits for women, we got that other thing that could happen to us women. That's right. It's called having a baby. All right. I have happened to have two children. I was going to say two of those. But I've happened to have two children. I was pregnant 3 times. I had 2 children, and unfortunately, I had a miscarriage. And so when you're going through pregnancy, even with the miscarriage, I had to see an OBGYN, which is, once again, a special doctor that women have to see, that men don't have a special doctor that they have to see for being a man. And so going through those OBGYN visits, of course, we can have health care, but that's still an extra expense that women are costing when it comes to health care versus what men cost. All right. And then when you think about that, I wish that we could pay in hugs, right? You know, I talk about paying in hugs all the time. I'm a good hugger. I'm A1 hugger over here. All right. But you don't pay in hugs, right? That there is still money that has to be paid for you to afford these expenses. And healthcare expenses, they can get expensive. Even with having insurance. I don't know if y'all know how much it costs to have a baby, right? Anywhere between $7,000 to $13,000 just to give birth. Now, I was fortunate when I had my children. They're covered. I was a military spouse at the time. They were all covered. Now, I don't know how much he had to pay, but I don't remember paying nothing. Child, I can remember when they sent the bill to the house. I said, ooh, child, what's up, man? So I could just show y'all what I did. I was like, ooh, child. But it said covered by your insurance company. I said, ooh, why are they sending this to me? I don't want to see this. This ain't even for me. Don't even show it to me. Something that you already done paid. Baby, don't send that to me. But it's good to know that that's how much y'all paid. Thank God for insurance, okay? And so I had two C-sections too. So my cost, it was about a little over $13,000. And that was back in 2005 and 2007 when I had my babies. Okay, that's been a long time ago. So I don't know how much it costs to have babies now. So I can just imagine that the price then went up. If inflation then went up, the cost of babies then went up. The point of me going into this long little thing that I'm talking to y'all about is that how women pay more in their health care, and then talking about the different doctors that women have versus what men have. All right, men don't have that special OBGYN for men. Okay. Oh, that rings OBGYN for men. I be making myself laugh, child. This is funny to me. And I like being on video, so this is cute. Okay. Moving on, y'all. All right. So talking about the pink tax disparity. What can we do about it? How can we solve the problem? So I done talked about how the disparity affects women with their personal care products, how it affects us with clothing, how it affects us with healthcare. How do we solve this problem? Now, unfortunately, I can't solve all the world's problems. All right. I don't know how we can solve it on a bigger scale. All right. And that ain't something that we're going to even divulge in today. But what I can do is talk to all of my women out there as we end Women's History Month and talk to you about how you can either make more money or how you can stretch your money. So let's go ahead and talk about that. So first off, to all my ladies out there, you already know that you are paying more due to this pink tax that exists. If you didn't know about it, you know about it now, right? So what can you do? You got to always make sure that you know where you stand financially. As a money girl, as a financial girl, I talk about this all the time. You got to make sure that no matter what's going on in life, no matter how much stuff costs, that your debts and your expenses aren't outweighing your income. It's not about how much money you make. It's about how much money you keep. And unfortunately, a lot of people don't know how to keep money. I've been there. There are situations and seasons that happen in our life that take us away from being able to keep the amount of money that we want to. There are stages that happen. Child, I could just do a whole book on situations, seasons, and stages, okay? Matter of fact, I got to make sure I write that down, okay? Because that is a real thing. So you have to make sure that you are staying on top of your financial situation and understanding, am I making enough money? Am I spending too much money? Because without knowing that, you don't know what it is that you need to do next. Right? That's the reason why it's always important to have multiple streams of income. Having multiple streams of income is going to be the way that we acquire wealth. You're not going to acquire wealth with just one stream of income. You just not. You also not going to acquire wealth by just working a job. It's just a thing. I don't care how much that job is paying you. That ain't how you acquire wealth. All right. You need multiple streams, and you need multiple streams, especially if you're not making enough money. I don't think that conversation has had enough. Sometimes you just not making enough money. People be looking like, all right, I didn't cut back here. Sometimes you didn't cut, and you just need to make more. All right. And that's a real thing. You have to look at your financial situation, look at what's going on in your life, and see where you need to make more money at. I don't know if that's at your current job, if you need to get a promotion, if you need to switch jobs, you need to move companies, you need just some multiple streams. I don't know. That's something that you're going to have to do in your situation, because unfortunately, we as women, we pay more for items than men pay. As I just told you, especially with the pink tax, what are you going to do to make sure that you are affording your needs? That's something you need to think about. All right. Next, as a solution to this disparity that the pink tax puts on us as women, something that you can do is make sure that you are comparison and bargaining shopping, right? So you don't want to just buy the most expensive things from the store, right? When it comes to your personal care products, right? Your skin care, your body care, your hair care, all of those things, right? All of the cares. You want to make sure that you are shopping around. I'm going to give y'all an example. So your girl loves Fenty. Look at my face, baby. Look at me. Okay. Yes. Yes. My face is good. Renee gave me the good genes, okay? And so when it comes to skincare, I already have good skin, but I love Fenty. I love Fenty. It is something about Rihanna's products that are just amazing, right? Fenty can be expensive. So if I were going through a situation where I needed to cut back, I have found another product line that I am absolutely loving at this moment. And it's Good Molecules. Like, they reached out to me a while ago. And it ain't even just because they reached out to me, because I had to use the stuff. But when they reached out to me, I was going through some stuff or whatever. It took me a while to use it. And I'm finally using it. And I'm like, baby, this stuff is good for my face. I like this, okay? I like a good face. All right. And so their products are like little to nothing. Like, I want to say anywhere between like $7 to $10 for the most expensive thing. And I was like, that's a good bargain. So if I was in a situation where I didn't want to purchase the products that I purchased, which I just told you were Fenty, I would get something that's going to be a deal. But when it comes to skincare, you have to try out the product so you can see what works for your face. Unfortunately, skincare ain't one of those things where you can say, what you using? Because my ultimate favorite is Mary Kay. I don't care what none of y'all say. Mary Kay is the truth. The products are just amazing. All right. They're amazing. And I've seen it work on more people than I haven't seen it work for, regardless of whatever their skincare issues are. Dry skin, bumpy skin, whatever it is that your skin is doing. Okay. Combination oily skin. I've seen it just work. But skincare is not one of those things that you could just say, oh, what you use, I'm going to use that too. You got to see what mixes and matches with your face. And there are skincare products. I use that as an example with Good Molecules and Fenty, just because there are products that can fit your price range. You do not have to break the bank, essentially, just so that you can get some good products. And I'm using that for skincare, and I gave y'all that example. But make sure you're looking at that when it comes to your razors that you're getting, your body care, all of those things, right? There are some things that you can do so that you can make your own products. Hell, I just started buying raw cocoa butter and making my own little thing. Even though my girl Reese, child, she be making all of the good body butters. It's called BDE, child, because that's what I give. Okay, that's what big Capricorn energy over here gives the BDE. All right, I'm gonna call it something else, but you know what? I forgot we on video now, and it's way more people listening to me than usual. Okay, back in the day, I used to say all of the crazy stuff. Okay. But that's what I give. And so I love her body butter. But whenever I'm not getting her body butter, I just bought some cocoa butter myself and learned how to make my own in those instances. You got to get creative, right? Because when we're talking about affording, especially since we know our personal care, body care, skin care, all of the cares they have a pink tax on them. They're going to be more than what men pay. What are you going to do so that you can make sure that you're able to afford all of your needs? So that's just something that you need to think about. So comparison shop on bargains, try some things out and see. All right, get creative with it, okay? It's a bunch of the holistic girls on the YouTube that can show you how to make a lot of this stuff, okay? From even the deodorants, okay? So you figure out what works for you, all right? Lastly, as a solution for the pink tax disparity that women face, so that you can look at... What's that? Child, that's the cops. Okay, hold on. So you see that this is live. It shocked me. I don't normally hear that over here. Okay, the last solution to solving the pink tax disparity that women can consider with either making money or stretching their money is, child, don't settle for less. Okay, don't settle for less when it comes to your pay. I talked about pay and the gender wage gap a little bit earlier. You got to negotiate your pay, girl. All right. And a lot of women, we don't negotiate our pay. We just take it. They just be like, we're going to pay you this. And you be like, yup, cool. Right. I'm just happy to be here. All right. We can't do that. We can't afford to do that. Not with inflation and not with this pink tax. You have to make sure that you are negotiating at all costs. I just had an interview. Well, not really an interview. I just had a conversation, which y'all are going to see in April. A conversation with my boy Rico, and we were talking about sign-on bonuses. I ain't never asked for a sign-on bonus before. I don't know why I ain't never did that, and I'm a money girl, and I know, but I negotiate the hell out some pay. Okay, I'm gonna get you. Okay, I'm like Denzel. I'm leaving here with something. Okay, but I've never asked for sign-on bonuses, but it's always important whenever you're starting a job or you're looking to go into a new role or a new career field, looking at what the market value of that role is, and then making sure you know that you are the most important asset that that company is about to add to their roster. You are the one who brings the value. So you make sure you look at what the market value is, but you add your market value on top of that. So that way you can get paid what you need to get paid. Because at the end of the day, you the one that still got to live. You the one that still got to go through year after year when inflation is continuing to go up. I feel like that's the reason why you have so many people that leave jobs after 2 and 3 years, just because they don't go into their jobs high. Inflation is starting to take hold, and then they're just sitting there at the old high rate. Because next year, that rate ain't high no more. Now everything then caught up, and now you feeling like you underneath the pay wage that you should be at, right? Because that's how it works. I believe inflation, was it last year? It was somewhere between 8 and 11%. Most jobs, when they're giving their increases, it's only 3 to 5%. So, baby, what you gonna do? You gonna go in low or you going in high, so that way you can account for all of these increases that are gonna happen over time when it comes to inflation. All right, it's just something that we gotta do, child. Okay, just looking at all of the different solutions that I talked about, they require us to do something. We can't just sit back, especially knowing that there is this pink tax and there is a disparity between what women pay for goods and services versus what men pay. You got to figure out, what am I going to do so I can afford all of these things? All right, and so that's it, child. I got it out under 30 minutes. Yes. Look at me. All right. And so I think I'm going to start doing more of these. I'm getting more organized with the things that I'm doing and everything. I got this board up here so I can get all my thoughts and stuff out. So I've been doing better. And so I'm going to try to bring more content like this to you. But I want to make sure that y'all know I am going to a subscriber base, not a subscriber base. I am moving to subscriber content. And so I'm going to be providing more content for my subscribers. So if y'all really gets down with your girl, okay, make sure that you go on Buzzsprout so that way you can see where my subscriber content is at. And I'm going to be doing more videos like this. I'm going to have subscriber only content. And so I'm looking for, just because y'all see what I'm using, all of this stuff is new. Let me show y'all what to subscribe. There we go. Sign up for the subscriber only content, Belle. Look at the banner, child. Look at your girl, okay? Coming up in the world, okay? Where my old, Mindfully Rich podcast listeners at, okay? Because, we ain't used to have all this. We made it, okay? And so this is fun. I like doing this. And so at the end of the day, your girl is still out here working, child. So if you want to work with me, I want to make sure that I put this information up. You can check me out on my website. I'm trying to see, is it showing? It ain't showing. Hold on. I thought it was showing. Is it showing? There we go. It is showing. All right. If you want to work with me, you can go ahead and check out my website. I am mindfullyrich.com. If you want to talk to me, schedule something with me, you want me to curate something for you, finances is my thing. You want me to be your financial coach. You want me to do some workshops at your place of business to get your employees, your audience, whoever. You want me to get them together. Okay, go ahead and check me out over there, and you can make an appointment on my website. And then also look forward to the Mindfully Rich conversations that are coming up next month for Financial Literacy Month. I am super excited. And yeah, your girl is about to take over YouTube, child. All these is going on the YouTube channel. All right, so just go ahead and look forward to that. And so I am starting to ramble, and I'm not into the ramble game. All right, so that's all I got. Ain't got no more. I want y'all to live life mindfully, intentionally, and on purpose, darlings. And until next time, when I hit y'all with another one.